I don't think most people fail because they're lazy. I don't think they fail because they lack talent. And I definitely don't think most people wake up one morning and decide to waste their potential. I think something much more dangerous happens. It happens quietly. You tell yourself you'll start exercising after things calm down. You'll start saving money once you get that raise. You'll spend more time with your family after this busy season at work. You'll finally start that business idea you've been thinking about next month. And none of those decisions seem like a big deal until one day you look up and realize 5 years have passed. The goals are still there. The ideas are still there. But the version of you that was going to do something about them never showed up. Not because you didn't care, because you drifted. And drift doesn't feel like failure. It feels like comfort. It feels like being busy. It feels like life until it doesn't. A few years ago, I met someone I'll call Michael. Michael had what most people would consider a good life. He had a stable career, a loving wife, 2 incredible kids. He owned a home, paid the bills, showed up for the people who depended on him. From the outside, everything looked fine. But underneath all of that, he carried a quiet frustration. Because Michael remembered the person he used to be, the person with ambition, the person with dreams, the person who had plans. There was a business he wanted to start, weight he wanted to lose, investments he wanted to make, skills he wanted to develop, leadership opportunities he wanted to pursue. Every January, he would tell himself, "This is my year." Every February, life got busy. By March, he was back in survival mode. One day, his son asked him a question. "Dad, what did you want to be when you grew up?" Michael laughed. Then he stopped laughing because he realized something. He had become so focused on making a living that he had stopped building a life. And that realization shook him, not because he was failing, because he was drifting. Here's the thing. Most people think their problem is motivation. They believe if they could just become more disciplined, more productive, more inspired, everything would change. Some days you have it, some days you don't. And if your entire future depends on how you happen to feel, you're going to struggle. Military organizations understand this. When conditions change, the mission doesn't. People still have responsibilities, objectives still matter. Adaptation becomes necessary because success was never built around feelings, it was built around systems. And that's where most people struggle. They have wishes, but no structure, goals, but no process, desire, but no plan. So they spend years reacting to stress, reacting to emergencies, reacting to whatever happens next, without ever intentionally deciding where they're going. I think drift shows up in predictable ways. The first sign, you're constantly busy, but rarely feel like you're moving forward. You're exhausted, but not fulfilled. The second sign, you keep setting the same goals every year. Lose weight, save money, read more books, start the business, and somehow they never quite happen. But readiness becomes a moving target. And the fourth sign, you become too comfortable. Not because comfort is bad, but because growth usually asks something from us. Discomfort, risk, uncertainty, effort. And when we avoid those things long enough, we unknowingly avoid the life we want. Here's what concerns me most about drift. It rarely creates immediate consequences. That's why it's so easy to ignore. You skip one workout, no big deal. Delay one difficult conversation, no big deal. Put off one important decision, no big deal, until those moments become patterns, and patterns become years. Imagine waking up 5 years from now. Nothing catastrophic happened, but nothing meaningful changed either. The same frustrations, the same excuses, the same conversations you've been having with yourself for years. How would that feel? Because the truth is, we don't just inherit our future, we build it, one decision at a time. The good news is that drift is impermanent. Awareness changes things. Intentionality changes things. Small actions repeated consistently change things. Maybe it starts by asking yourself better questions. What actually matters to me? What kind of person do I want to become? If I keep living exactly as I am today, where will I end up? And if I don't like that answer, what needs to change? Not everything, just the next thing, the next conversation, the next workout, the next decision, the next step. It compounds quietly, just like drift does. Nobody accidentally becomes the person they were meant to be. That takes intention, direction, responsibility, and the courage to stop postponing the life you want. So maybe the question isn't, where do I want to be 5 years from now? So, what small decisions am I making today that are quietly shaping the person I'll become? The only real question is whether you got there by design or by default. And if this conversation resonated with you, maybe today is a good day to stop drifting and start choosing.